In today's video, we're going to look at defenseman Stian Solberg. So you're going to be looking at number 72, and he was also wearing number 10 at the World Junior Championship. Spotting him on the ice isn't very difficult. He catches our eyes as hard as he hits his opponents. His identity and his contribution to his team rely largely on the quality of his physical game. 2 years ago, I declared Lian Bixel as the most physical prospect I had ever seen, and by virtue of his play this season, Solberg made a strong sales pitch to claim this title. Watching him destroy grown men in Norway bordered on the absurd at times. I could only burst out laughing when I noticed the violence on some of his checks. He is extremely strong on his skates. What I like about Solberg is that he approached every game with the same mentality. It's not the easiest thing to do to assume such a role on the ice and to make yourself the number one target of the opposing team. However, he doesn't shy away from any challenge. Also, I think that this shows us how much of a physical specimen he is. Playing in such a way will inevitably involve some wear and tear on the body, and this is also why the aspect of consistency in this facet of the game is rarely checked for players with similar identity. However, Solberg turned out to be one of those players with a regenerative ability worthy of the Wolverine. He doesn't take any evening off. Beyond the resounding impact, Solberg delivers a volume of hits that is simply absurd. He never misses any opportunity to make his opponents pay the price. I'm going to conclude this aspect by saying that Don Cherry would only need 1 or 2 games worth of Solberg to make a Rock'em Sock'em compilation. I was touching on the subject, but one of the keys for players like this is something we don't talk about often enough, and that's longevity. Beyond the impacts of hitting, there is a preventive aspect on the ice that those players must be aware of. These players risk seeing a target put on their head in the enemy locker room, and they must be extra careful when they jump on the ice. Solberg is often targeted by his opponents, but he is never caught off guard. He firmly waits for the arrival of his enemies and he gives them a reverse hit. Hockey executives are now trying to abolish those hits because they are dangerous, but as a Solberg fan, I can contain my excitement when I see him destroy an opponent like this. The most frightening thing about Solberg is that I believe he still has some strength and muscle to gain. When he is called upon to engage in physical confrontations in a more stationary position, he will not dominate his opponents outrageously as the hits he can give suggest. I believe gaining upper body strength will help him become more effective in front of the net and in the corners. What is interesting about the Norwegian is that his physical play doesn't only serve him to punish his opponents, it is also from this that his defensive game draws its effectiveness. He uses his body to commit legal interference and thus block the forward's path. I also like how he uses his body to trap his opponents along the boards.
Steppes av
først på den. Med Solberg.
But what I find the most unique about his defensive game is how he uses his sticks to push his opponents at the hips level to cause them to lose balance.
Stian Solberg som
kommer gjennom midtsonen. Pickenic. Se på Solberg.
However, not everything is perfect. Solberg has a few small deficiencies to correct defensively. First, he has a difficulty blocking opposing shots, and this is explained by 2 things. The first is that he will bite too hard at the shooting option. The second, and this is something that has persisted throughout the season, is that Solberg doesn't make himself big enough when trying to block shots. Rather than trying to cover as much space as possible, he seems to shy away.
Inn I sonen og I gang her, Oilers. Treffer den skjøtte. Får etablert umiddelbart, og skuddet det hardt.
Men til bortelaget.
The thing that worried me the most about his game was during a sequence of game, he was constantly clearing the puck through the glass. This was very uncharacteristic of him because, as we saw previously, he is a player who has no difficulty taking pressure on himself, and normally he has very good composure with the puck. These hasty plays result in icing call or putting the puck back in the enemy's hands. Despite having many good qualities, it can be those kind of repeated mistakes that can end up keeping a player out of the lineup. It was to my bewilderment to observe what was emerging as a very bad tangent in his game. Generally, when a player throws a puck like this, it is either because he's afraid of getting hit or because his brain is not processing the information quickly enough, and in a fit of panic, he gets rid of the disc. The first hypothesis does not adhere to Solberg, so what about the second? Well, he has repeatedly demonstrated refinement in his way of operating under pressure. We see him here having to retrace on his steps because an opponent is harassing him. The option of sending the puck behind the net is not viable as one player is coming to put pressure on his defense partner on the other side. He will therefore bring the two forwards with him to the corner of the ice, making sure not to get pinned against the board with a clever directional fake. Subsequently, he will wait for the second forward to close the gap on him to cleverly slide the puck between these two opposing forwards to a supporting teammate in the center rather than pushing the puck onto the boards. One pass later, and a teammate of Solberg got a breakaway and scored a goal.
Nok en gang meget solid backspill av Solberg.
Får også lurt den pucken fram, og så er det Thomas Olsen. Kan han sette krona på verket her? Thomas Olsen!
His poise is accentuated due to his belief in his athletic abilities. In his case, this is reflected in his ability to use very nice, sudden pivots on his skates to get rid of his pursuer.
Virkelig den kampen vi hadde håpet på fra start. 2 skåringer, fysisk.
Og når nesten en også. Breivoll holder hodet kaldt.
But also by his confidence in protecting the puck with his body. What I like is that within some sequence, the forward chasing him plays wonderfully with his stick, and you would be able to believe that Solberg is going to lose the puck, but his desire to triumph is so great that it never comes close to being a possibility.
Solberg.
To come full circle on this aspect, the Norwegian defenseman has a very strong dose of deception in his game. He excels at luring an opponent in one direction and finally going in the opposite direction. He is, in my eyes, very good at recovering pucks and escaping pressure thanks to this quality.
Berglund, så får han plutselig pucken tilbake igjen og får en kjempegratis mulighet.
Solberg, der
This aspect of deception leads me to talk about his offensive game. This is an aspect of his contribution that I find very underrated. There hasn't been any discussion surrounding his play in the offensive zone, and I think people are missing something. His puck distribution is really better than the lack of conversation on the public sphere would suggest. He has a very good vision and has made a multitude of magnificent cross-ice passes throughout the season. And his ability to mislead defensive coverage while never making eye contact with his target deserves much more praise. There is definitely room to develop offensively with him. In terms of his shooting, there is still some elements of deception, but his value doesn't stop there. Firstly, he managed to get his shot to the net, which is a quality in itself. He finds the shooting lanes even when he finds himself stuck to the boards. But what excites me the most is his ability to open up shooting lanes in his own unique way. He managed to accelerate in a given direction without even pushing after stopping and luring a forward to compromise on him. He then capitalized on every inch of ice available to him to advance into open space before shooting. There is no shortage of mentions about Solberg's athletic profile, but I must mention that he is a powerful skater. He is very strong on his legs and he managed to generate a lot of power behind each of his strides. He also maintains excellent balance on his skates even when pushed by his opponents while he is at full speed.
Stian Solberg.
Something nice about him is that you watch him play and you're never able to guess what the score is. He plays with the same energy no matter the results. Norway was not a powerhouse at the World Junior Hockey Championship, having suffered several humiliating losses, yet Solberg continued to play with the same intensity. And it didn't just stop at the physical play. During sequences where he was called upon to recover the puck, he showed the same vigilance and the same confidence, showing no sign of discouragement. To me, this is a solid show of leadership on his part. Continuing the level of leadership shown by Solberg, during the relegation game against Germany at the World Junior Hockey Championship, he made a costly mistake which ended up in the back of his net during the game. Right from the next shift, we saw Solberg hungry to make a difference at the other end. How a player bounces back after a difficult shift or such an error says a lot about his character. Finally, I am very excited about what the future holds for him. He played all of his hockey in Norway, and until last year, his country had never played against the powerhouse that we know on the international scene. Which means that until he was 17, he had never really faced a high caliber of competition. And even though he was playing against men this year in Norway, seeing him play at such a high level against NHL player at the World Championship was a striking statement from the young player to close out his draft season. Next year, he will play for Färjestad in the SHL, and I think it's an excellent decision on his part to move to a higher caliber while making sure not to skip any steps along his way. I see him as a second pair defender, but one who brings a unique dimension as well as a lot of leadership. A player you need to get through the playoff, and I'm also banking on the fact that there is possibly a lot of untapped potential with him. So next video is going to be my last one for the year, and it's going to be on possibly my favorite players of the entire draft. For the rest of this one, I'm going to put songs that are fitting accordingly to Solberg's style of play, which is violent, so I hope you'll enjoy.